The rain hadn't stopped for hours, turning the narrow Appalachian highway into a glistening ribbon of black glass. The storm hung over the mountains like a curse, the kind that made even truckers avoid the back roads. But Emily didn't have a choice. She was late, exhausted, and desperate to get to her motel before night swallowed the hills completely. Her old Honda Civic shuddered as it climbed the twisting incline. The GPS had lost signal 2 hours ago, and every sign she passed seemed more faded than the last. The road was lonely, broken in places, and lined with towering trees that leaned close like eavesdropping giants. She rolled the window up tighter, glancing at the passenger seat where her phone flickered weakly with no service. Lightning cracked across the sky, lighting up a faded green sign for just a heartbeat. Old Briar Hollow, 2 miles. She didn't remember seeing that town on the map, but it was the only sign she'd seen in hours, and her gas light was already glowing amber. With a sigh, she turned onto the narrow detour, hoping it led somewhere safe. The road to Briar Hollow was worse than the main one, lined with rusted mailboxes and long-abandoned gas pumps, their glass faces broken, their hoses like dead snakes. The woods thickened until the world outside her headlights disappeared into a blur of black trunks and mist. Then, out of nowhere, she saw it, a woman on the roadside. She was standing perfectly still, drenched in rain, her white dress plastered to her skin. Her hair hung like seaweed over her face. Emily slammed the brakes, heart hammering. The car fishtailed on the wet pavement before stopping just feet away. Emily rolled down the window an inch. "Hey, are you okay?" she shouted over the storm. The woman didn't move. Her head tilted slightly, as if listening. Then, without warning, she started walking, slow, deliberate steps toward the car. Emily's instinct screamed no. She threw the car into gear, but before she could move, the woman lifted her face. Her eyes were gone. 2 black pits stared back at her. Emily screamed and floored the gas. The Honda lurched forward, splashing through puddles as lightning illuminated the woman in the rearview, still standing there, now smiling. After 15 minutes of white-knuckled driving, Emily saw a dim neon sign through the fog. Rest Haven Motel. It looked like something out of the 1960s, paint peeling, the vacancy sign flickering weakly. But at that point, anything was better than the road. She parked under the awning and ran through the rain toward the office. Inside, the air smelled of dust and stale cigarettes. Behind the counter sat an old man in a plaid shirt, staring blankly at a small TV. "Evenin'," he rasped, barely glancing up. "Just need a room for the night," Emily said, still shivering. He slid a ledger toward her. "Cash only." She hesitated, then handed him 2 20s. The man gave her a rusty brass key with a faded tag, "Room 7. "Don't go out after midnight," he muttered. She frowned. "Excuse me?" But he was already staring back at his TV. Room 7 smelled of mildew. The wallpaper was peeling, the lights flickered, and a lone moth buzzed around the ceiling fan. Emily dropped her bag on the bed and sat down, her hands still shaking from the drive. Her phone remained useless, no signal. She thought about the woman on the roadside, those hollow eyes, and tried to convince herself it had been an illusion, a trick of the rain. Around midnight, the wind howled through the trees outside. Something metallic clanged near the car lot, a sign maybe, or a loose gate. She turned off the TV and listened. Then came the knock. 3 slow, deliberate taps on the door. She froze. No one should have known she was here. Another knock, louder this time. Emily stood, heart pounding, and crept toward the peephole. But when she looked, there was nothing. Just darkness. Then, faintly, she heard it, a woman's voice. "Can you help me?" Emily stepped back, shaking her head. "No. No, no," she whispered. The voice came again, closer this time. "My car broke down, please." The tone was wrong, too smooth, too calm. Like someone trying to sound human. Emily grabbed her phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam cut across the window curtains, and there, behind them, a silhouette moved. Someone was outside her window. The glass began to fog, and from the other side, a finger traced something into it, slowly, carefully. "Room 7. She screamed and bolted for the bathroom, slamming the door behind her. She climbed into the bathtub, holding her breath as she dialed 911, but the phone displayed the same cursed message, "No service." Minutes passed, or maybe hours. The knocking stopped. The only sound was the hiss of wind and her own heartbeat. When she finally opened the bathroom door, dawn light was bleeding through the curtains. The room looked normal again. No fog on the glass, no sign of footprints outside. Maybe it had been a nightmare brought on by exhaustion. She gathered her things and rushed to the office. The old man was gone, replaced by a younger woman who looked confused when Emily mentioned him. "There's no old man here, ma'am," she said. "My dad's been running this place alone for years. He passed away in '95. Emily blinked. "What?" "No, he was here last night. He gave me the key for room 7. The woman's face paled. "Room 7's been closed for years. Roof caved in. No one stays there." Emily didn't wait for an explanation. She ran to her car, fumbling the keys, and sped off down the same lonely road she came from. The mist clung to her windshield like breath. The radio flickered to life for the first time all night, static, then a faint female voice whispering, "Turn around." She shut it off, shaking her head. No, not listening to this. But as she rounded the next bend, her headlights swept across something that made her blood run cold. A wrecked Honda Civic, same model, same color, crushed against a tree. Inside, slumped over the wheel, was her. Emily screamed and slammed on the brakes, but before the car could stop, the reflection in the rearview mirror changed. The woman from the roadside was sitting in the back seat, her black eyes gleaming. "You didn't stop," she whispered. The car careened off the road and plunged into the ravine. When state troopers arrived the next morning, they found a crumpled silver Honda at the bottom of the slope. The driver had died instantly. Locals said that road had claimed many lives over the decades, all in nearly the same place. A week later, a couple passing through the Appalachians stopped at the Rest Haven Motel. The neon sign flickered. The man went inside to ask for directions while his wife waited in the car. She looked up at the rearview mirror. For a moment, she could have sworn she saw a woman in a white dress walking along the roadside.